All right. Well, hello and welcome to the first live episode of Pharmacists on Fire. My name is Jackie McShane. I am a pharmacist turned certified health, life, and weight loss coach. And I've had this podcast for today. This is the 35th episode, but today is the first time that I'm actually videoing it to post on YouTube. So if you have joined me on YouTube, thank you so much. Welcome. I hope you find some value here. You can always kind of go back and catch up and find Pharmacists on Fire on iTunes. Now, you do not have to be a pharmacist to get value from this podcast. The information and the antidotes and the concepts and the tools and the resources and the tips that I share are really meant for human beings, right? And I have a feeling if you're sitting here listening to me, that is you. Now, I'm also going to apologize because number one, this is the first time I'm doing this. Number two, I have a little mini schnauzer. Her name is Zoe, and right now she finally has settled down into her bed. But she was outside running around, and in South Mississippi today, it's a little hot and muggy, so she has been panting really loudly. So hopefully you can't hear her, and she may decide that she wants to get up and walk around, and you may see her in the background. You may hear her little toes clicking on the ground, but we're just going to go with it because, my friends, this is real life. So welcome to the podcast. I am going to go ahead and get started. So hello there. If you are coming back to me to listen to the podcast, welcome back. And now that we have a couple of months of 2021 under our belts, it's time to really take a look at where you are right now with those goals or those New Year's resolutions that you set at the beginning of the year. I hope you're killing it, right? Like, I hope you're making progress. I hope that you're learning from your mistakes. And instead of allowing those mistakes to keep you down or those failures to keep you down, you're asking good questions like, how is this for me? What am I supposed to learn from this? How can I use this as information and move forward with this journey rather than quitting, right? Because sometimes quitting feels easier. But I also hope that you're celebrating all of the victories along the way and not waiting until you get to the ultimate goal to celebrate. It's really important to celebrate those little victories around along the way as well. So a lot of us made goals to lose weight, right? And probably for what feels like the 100th time. And it's not happening. And so I want to talk about why you're not losing weight today. But if you're listening to this and your goal isn't to lose weight, I want you to still stick with me here because the information that I'm going to share with you today can help you figure out why you're not moving forward with basically any goal that you set for yourself in any area of your life. But as someone whose niche is really weight loss and health, I tend to use that as an example in a lot of my concepts, but you'll find that the concepts that I share here can improve any area of your life. So I've talked about my weight loss journey before, but I want to do a little recap because I feel like it's really relevant here, especially today with this topic. I was one of those people. I was on the diet roller coaster from about the time I was 17 until my late 30s. And even now in my 40s, basically my mid 40s, if I'm honest, it's still not always smooth sailing because I'm constantly a work in progress. I may make tremendous momentum forward in one area, and then sometimes some old habits start to creep back, or I stop paying attention, or I think that I've got that thing under wraps, and so I start focusing somewhere else, and that certain area starts to lag behind again, and I have to be like, okay, what's happening here? Why am I not making that forward progress that I was before? And it's because I've let off the gas, right? And so even when I found literally the most simple, comprehensive program that focused on not only solid, simple nutrition, but also on creating healthy habits and had this amazing community. And I had a personal coach, right? Like, really, my friend was my coach, which I think is so vital when we're setting goals. I don't care what the area of your life is, but we need a coach. We need someone to coach us through those things, specifically someone who's been through it before and is helping other people. So even though I had found this really comprehensive program, I was seeing the results that others were getting. I had success, but I still felt like it was a struggle. So I actually love this program so much that I started coaching it. And I was able to leave my full time job as a pharmacist to pursue health coaching full time. And I loved it, and I still do. But what I discovered is that I'm not alone in the struggle to lose weight. Even with the most simple, convenient plan or program on the planet, which was based on fueling my body in the right way so that I wasn't hungry. And when I would stick to it, I would have the most amazing results. I'd have abundant energy. I'd be very mentally focused. But that was the problem when I would stick to it, right? And as I coached hundreds of others through this program, I realized that so many of my clients were just like me. It wasn't about the food. It wasn't just about having easy. It wasn't about just having convenience. And I'm talking about like the kind of simple inconvenience that almost requires no thought. Like it's super simple, people. And and I think that if it were all about the food, if it were just about the convenience of the program, like everybody would be doing it, right? And everybody would be thin and living their best lives. But the reason we aren't losing weight isn't because we've chosen the wrong program or the wrong plan or the wrong diet. It's because of the thoughts in our minds. And I really didn't understand this until I started listening to a podcast by Brooke Castillo, who is an amazing master coach. She's a life coach. And I was so intrigued. And I always felt like she was speaking directly to me. And I would binge listen her podcast for hours at a time, like while I was cleaning the house and doing yard work and folding laundry and driving. Like I was just constantly consuming anything that she would put out. So when I figured this out for myself, when I truly understood why I wasn't losing weight, and I started practicing the thought work that Brooke was teaching at the life coach school, everything started to fall into place. I knew that this was the missing piece for most of my clients as well. So I actually took last year and became a certified life coach with the life coach school. Now, the thing is, no matter what we're doing that we don't want to do, like eating an entire bag of cookies in one sitting, right? Most of us don't plan to do that. We don't want to do that. Or when we're not doing things that we want to do, like we plan to get up at 5 o'clock and go to the gym every day, but we're not doing it, right? It's all because of our thoughts. Seriously, I know that this sounds so simplistic, and you're just thinking, like, that can't be true. It's not, it's because I'm busy and I'm tired and I have kids and I have work and all of the things. There's a pandemic, right? Like we could come up with all of these excuses that are just circumstances around us. And we can blame those things for why we're either doing the things that we don't want to be doing or we're not doing the things that we want to do. But trust me, it's all in our head. It's all about the thoughts. And I was a skeptic too. So I totally get it. I totally get where you are right now as you're hearing me say these words to you. So let's say that you've made the decision that you're going to lose weight. You start a really great program that is super healthy and simple, and it includes support. I know this program, by the way. If you want to know about it too, I can help you with that. It's literally the perfect program. And you wake up on the morning of day 4. So you've been on this program for 3 days, and you're already almost 3 pounds down. And you're like, wow, right? You feel great and your energy is up. And you honestly are feeling proud of yourself. And you're like, yes, I finally found something that works. And you get dressed and you feel super confident and you head to work, and then bam, right? Reality. You spill coffee on your shirt because some bad driver, I was almost going to say a bad word, but that might get me in trouble here. I should look up the rules, right? About YouTube. I have a feeling there's a lot of swearing on YouTube, but Anyway, you spill coffee on your shirt because the person driving in front of you like slams on their brakes for no apparent reason, right? You get to work and you take a lashing from your boss who wasn't super happy with the work that you submitted yesterday. And then maybe 30 minutes later, the school calls to tell you that your child doesn't have the permission slip to go on today's field trip. So at 2 p.m., when you head into the break room for that much needed caffeine pick me up, there they are. The most like beautiful, glorious box of cookies you have ever seen. Not just like Walmart cookies, not that there's anything wrong with Walmart cookies. They're pretty darn good, right? As far as sugar goes. But these are like those fancy bakery cookies, and they're big and they look soft, and they must be fresh because you can really smell them. You know what I'm talking about, right? And even right now, as I'm thinking about it, those like little salivary glands right here, and they kind of get little tingly and you start to salivate. It's totally happening to me right now as I'm just talking about fresh baked cookies. So let's just take a time out right here, right? Like you can totally envision this as being your morning, but I want you to take a little time out. We're going to pause right here and we're really just going to really examine what's going on. We spilled coffee. It's just a circumstance, right? Your boss said words to you. Just a circumstance, just something going on in the world, something someone said to you. And you have a child who happens to be at school without the permission slip. Also, just a circumstance. These are things that are going on around us that are truly out of our control. They are outside of us, and we cannot control other people. Trust me, I've tried that. It doesn't work. And we cannot control things going on in the world, such as the driver in front of us and whatever happened in front of him that made him slam on the brakes. We can't control a pandemic, right? We cannot control all of the things happening in the world. These are circumstances. They are facts. We could literally prove them to be true in a court of law. Like everyone would agree that your boss said those words, right? Because they were there, they witnessed them, the boss said words. But maybe not everyone would agree that he was being a jerk, right? So what's exciting to know is that we can control how we react to every circumstance. These circumstances aren't good or bad until we have a thought about them. So coffee spilled, circumstance. One person might think, well, great. Now my whole day is ruined. And another person might think, you know what? I never really liked this shirt anyway. And now I get to go shopping for a new shirt. No big deal, right? Circumstance. Boss said words. Now, one person might think, oh my gosh, he is such an ass and he is not that great. Like, what does he even know about my job? And another person might think, you know what? I probably could have done it better. He's right. Probably not my best work. And then child at school without a permission slip. Again, it's a circumstance. It's something going on in the world. Now, one person thinks, seriously, that girl's brain wouldn't make it to school if her head were not attached to her body. Now I have to leave work and take care of this. And someone else might think, we really need to get organized at home. It is time to put together a better system. We need a place for papers and homework. And you know what? Now I kind of get to escape work for a little while. I get to go out and get some fresh air and grab some coffee while I'm out delivering the permission slip, right? It's all about our thoughts. It's all about what we're thinking about the situation. It's what we're thinking about the circumstance. We forget to remember that we are in control of our thoughts. And I know that this doesn't seem to be true because our thoughts are so fleeting. Like they just come and go and it's so fast. And it seems like our thoughts are just there. Like they were put there from God, right? Or the universe or whatever. And I think that does probably happen. Sometimes I do believe that, but it's also so important to know that we control our thoughts. We have to know this. We have to understand it and we need to practice it because our thoughts create our feelings and our feelings drive our actions and our actions create the results that we're getting in our life, good or bad. So it all starts with our thoughts. The results that we're creating for ourselves, both the results that we do want and don't want, it all starts with our thoughts. So if you're losing weight, it all stems back to a thought that you're having. If you're gaining weight, it all stems back to a thought that you're having. So if you're having negative thoughts about spilling coffee, you're going to have a negative feeling about it, right? And rarely does anything good come from a negative feeling. Your work suffers, your relationships suffer. And in the moment when you find yourself in the break room with the cookies and you've had what you feel like is the morning from hell, right? Your brain says, just one cookie, just one bite, it won't hurt. You've lost 3 pounds in 3 days. I mean, one cookie's not a big deal at this point, right? And so when you're having those types of thoughts, you start to feel maybe apathetic about weight loss and your goal, and you have a bite of the cookie, which leads to like 10 more bites. And before you know it, you're no longer on this new amazing program that was giving you some such awesome results. Like you were proving that the program worked, right? You follow the program worked. But all in an instant, because you decided that eating the cookie was going to fix everything that had happened that morning and make you feel better. Now you're deciding, oh, that program doesn't work, right? But it wasn't the program that wasn't working. It was your thoughts that weren't serving you on the goal to losing weight. So, what if in that moment, before you took the bite of cookie, you stepped outside of yourself and you became the watcher of your thoughts? And you might think, there's that thought about wanting to eat the cookie, right? Like I knew it was coming. There are cookies. I'm going to have a thought about them. Like I'm going to want to eat them. And yeah, I bet the cookies are super delicious, but I'm making progress. I've been on this thing for 3.5 days now. I'm doing really well. I've got goals and I want to keep feeling as amazing as I feel right now. Even though my morning has been crazy, like I still feel pretty good. So in that moment, just noticing that you have the urge, right? That urge in your body to eat the cookie that feels a little uncomfortable. It feels urgent. It feels like, oh my gosh, I have to eat the cookie right now or I'm going to die. But you're not. And just allowing the urge to be there in your body. Just feel it being there. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, right? But in that moment, if you could just allow it to move through your body without giving into it, without reacting to it, you will have made progress towards your goal. And the more you practice this, the more you allow urges, the more you allow practicing allowing urges, it becomes easier. And you may not believe me right now, but eventually there might just be a day where you walk into the break room after another morning from hell and you see the cookies and you don't really even have a thought about the cookies other than, oh, look, cookies on the table. And you pour your coffee and you walk out. Now, this is going to take some time. Okay. I'm not saying that this is something that happens overnight. It takes time, it takes practice, and it takes really embracing the discomfort of allowing the urge. It will not be comfortable. It will not be easy, but it is so worth it. The goal really right now is to just be aware of your thoughts. Notice the thoughts that you're having that are sabotaging your weight loss efforts or whatever efforts it is towards whatever goal it is. And then stop before you react to the urge to eat when it's not part of your program. So this week, I want you to just start noticing your thoughts. And this can be really hard. You may not notice until you've actually eaten a cookie or are eating the cookie. Like, wait a minute. What was the thought that I have that has me putting this cookie in my mouth right now? Like it may be that you're having to reflect back. But there will come a time, the more you practice this, that you're going to catch it ahead of time. Oh, there's that thought. It's just a thought. I don't need to react to it. So just be there and be present and try to nail down those thoughts that have you eating the cookie when you promised yourself that you weren't going to do it. Because when you can identify the thoughts, you can just allow them to be there. And this, my friend, is how you start losing weight. So until next time, my friends, keep forging.